So the third track on the EP is Keep the TV On, which originally did start as an Against the Clock, but it was not good. This was so late in the night or early morning. It was probably like 9 a.m. or something. And we had done so many of these. We had so many wine spritzers. And so we were pretty bleary-eyed at this point.
We don't even have, I don't think we have like our phone, like my phone ran out of battery.
There was no
so
video
I don't think we
for
have
this
any
one.
like footage of.
Yeah, that's how late it was because it was, our phone storage was completely kaput. But I had this phrase, keep the TV on, and like the ooh, 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 oohs, all that was in the Against the Clock. So I liked that. There was no guitar. It was just a bass and some really basic drum. I might even just play a little sample of it here. Very different, as you can hear it. Yep, not very good. So it started with that. And then, but I really liked the concept. You and I were just like, it was so late and we were a little we were drunk. And so like,
I don't know about you, but
we were drunk. And so I remember like the lyrics, there was a cool lyric that you had in it, but it didn't fit whatever I was singing.
yeah. And I have like,
You have no recollection of it, but I liked what you came up with, but it did not fit this like concept I had, which was like keep the TV on. I liked this idea of like using the television for comfort, which I think we all do. And I think for me, once I figured that concept out, I was like, you know what? I've always kind of wanted to write a song about how when I first moved into my own apartment, it was like the first time I'd ever lived alone. It was like the first time I've ever really kind of felt lonely. I'd been surrounded by people all the time, roommates, parents, whatever. And so this time I was like, good Lord, this is really lonely. Pandemic, you're extra alone. You can't even go out and do anything. And so I was thinking, oh, wait, that's exactly when I was like, the only way to make myself feel less alone was like I had the TV on set to old 90s laugh tracks, all these sitcoms that I grew up with. I had those on literally every single day. At one point, I didn't even have like a TV stand, so like my TV was on the floor, and I just had like the laugh tracks just filling the space, and it made me feel great. But I really liked that concept, and so that's kind of what we turned the song into.
yeah. Well, and I like to because like, I mean, our verses are even like are a little bit of a juxtaposition with each other's like lyrics and verses and our own takes. But every time we talk about the song, when you're like, I've never really felt lonely. I'm like, I felt lonely my entire life except for the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because I was working in a restaurant and I never stopped work. So I was always around people and like just people being stressed and angry. So like, so I'm like it's like I've always felt lonely and always around like a lot of people, but always like, that loneliness is like the sentiment and the nostalgia of the track. And a lot of times like there's like a nostalgia with like sadness and loneliness. And that's why like a lot of us like, really resonate with songs that
have those like
that
feels. Yeah,
portray like that emotion. But I also just love anytime we talk about this track because like it's like our two experiences and even like with the specific lyrics are so different, but at the same time there is like that common like foundation.
I think so, yeah.
Of just like, and also like in the music we're like, yes, this is exactly what it feels like, but from our own different perspectives, which are pretty like from opposite ends.
No, completely. Also, I will say like, because the song, it did really, really transform. It started with that really crappy synth on my end. But I don't know what it was. I think I heard the song Sometimes by My Bloody Valentine, and I just really loved that sort of shoegazy distortion. And I was like, that would be really cool if I like did the same chord progression or, bass note progression, but did it on a guitar. I was like, what could that sound like? And so when I brought my guitar pedal, this really old, like really crappy guitar pedal, I found an awesome distortion. And once I played that on a loop, I was able to like sing Keep the TV. I was like, there's like droning sort of really cool vibe that I really liked. And once we brought that aesthetic into it, I really feel like the song came together really well. But it wasn't until we brought your Mini Moog Voyager, this analog synth that Lucia has, that was able to bring Lucia into the mix even more because I had been doing all the production stuff, playing all the instruments, mixing and stuff, but I wanted to like figure out how to get you involved. And so once we linked the analog synth up to the computer, and then you were just like, it was basically play the notes, and then, you know, Lucia can twist all the knobs and basically do all the analog, you know, motion with it and create the sound.
Yeah, like filtering
hands
through
on.
like MIDI and doing all
Filtering,
that.
yeah, but it's once we had never done that before, but once we did it with this song, I was like, oh my gosh, the sounds we can get are incredible.
Well, and I will say to that as well, like I've had like, this is my like dream synth that had been
So
wanting for
nice.
like such a long time after playing on it one time in a Moog shop in Bangkok, Thailand. And then
Small
eventually
flex.
got it. Yeah. And then, but I've been so intimidated by it. And cause I'm just like, I don't really know how to do this justice. So I've done what I can, but like, this is, I think the first time like actually just really been experimenting like a lot more. And like, this was, I think the first track that we started that kind of started like informing the shape of like the next songs that even the next songs on the EP, but also like going forward, like how we want to do things, and like also sampling like a lot of our percussion from the Voyager, and also it's just like it's the most beautiful synth.
It's so
and
cool.
So I'm just
it's
like
so cool.
I'm just
yeah.
It breaks my heart like how I have not used it much until then, but like the fact like the way it was like used here is also just like so like it was like just beautiful, the timing and the moment, and like how it also is like really I think kind of locked in where we have been wanting to
I
like
think it helped
figure out where we
craft
want to go.
our sound, or a sound that we really latched onto. I think a sound that we had been wanting to sort of invite into the projects that we were, or the songs that we were doing. So I will say, like, because the sessions that we were doing with the Voyager for this song, the sounds were really, really cool. There's a video that I have of Lucia just, you know, like we were saying, playing with the knobs and the filters and everything. And I put the vocals on because we had just recorded some of the vocals for Lucia's verse. But I have all these new synth lines with the Voyager underneath, and there was such a simplicity to it that I was like, this is like a lullaby. Ooh, nice. I love that sort of underwatery thing, bubbling underneath. That's great. And the way that it's all stripped down, I was like, oh my gosh, we should just release that. So of course, of course we are. And that comes out actually, you know, like tomorrow from the day that we're recording this. Yeah.
Also like a very sad lullaby.
That's the thing. I call it the lullaby version because there's something that's mellow to it and really melancholy, but also like so pretty. I love just stripping everything away and just hearing your voice. I mean, yeah, it's so good. I'm glad we have it.
It's so cute, yes.